Edited mode disabled.
What up, people? It's your boy Donald Wonder back again to do some anime talk. Now, Hunter x Hunter is a franchise I've wanted to talk about for the longest time, ever since I even started this video project. Now, I was a fan of the original run series. I'm a big fan of this reboot series, and as of this recording, up to episode 136 of the Madhouse reboot, I just finished the Chimera Ant arc, which took months and months. And honestly, I read the manga as well because I just couldn't stand to wait anymore. And now I just have to have a spoiler discussion. This isn't going to be a traditional review. I'm going to try not to get into a lot of spoilers just for anyone who wants to hear this, but I kind of have to. So know what you're getting into. I just have to kind of release because this has been strenuous and pleasureful, good and bad, and I need to talk about it. Hopefully this isn't going to be too much of a ramble, but guess what, people? You were warned. Let's start the discussion about Hunter x Hunter, Hunter x Hunter, Hunter x Hunter, however you pronounce the damn show. So Hunter x Hunter is a shounen, or an anime that's targeted towards teenagers, that is done by the very popular mangaka Yoshihiro Togashi. Now, you guys should know him, or most anime fans know him mostly for the wildly popular Yu Yu Hakusho, which is a show I really, really did enjoy. Now, I want to start by telling people how I got into Hunter x Hunter. Basically, in the early 2000s, on its original run, I was watching the fan subs, and I loved it. I think I watched it before I was even watching the Ruto. You know, the thing about Hunter x Hunter, here's the short premise for those of you who don't know. Hunter x Hunter is about a young boy named Gon. Gon, I think he's 9 or 8 years old, correct me if I'm wrong, and he wants to be a hunter like his dad. Now, a hunter, let's say it's like a professional. It's like a standard of a profession. You take an exam, you go through all these trials, you go through this application to become a hunter. And when you do that, you get this exclusive membership to access to all these funds, to all this information. It's like a super elite membership. Once you get the hunter license and you become a hunter, you can go into various sects. You can become a hunter of animals, a hunter of science, a hunter of a bounty hunter for people. You know, it's varied across what you can become. It's just a title for an expert. A hunter is like an expert of something. And Gon's father abandoned him when he was young. He was raised by some woman, I can't remember her name right now, and he wants to follow his dad, who is a great hunter. And that's basically the basic plot line. Gon meets a couple of friends, Killua, Lorio and Kurapika, and they all go on an adventure, and it sounds very, very typical shonen-y, you know, 4 guys on an adventure, action, da-da-da. But the thing I liked about Hunter x Hunter is that it didn't follow traditional trends. Now, if you know Togashi as a mangaka, he likes games. If you've seen Yu Yu Hakusho, he's got an obsession with little tricks, with psychology and stuff like that. Not so much in Yu Yu Hakusho so much, but in Hunter x Hunter, the first arc, I'll go through this sequentially, the first arc was a hunter exam arc, where Gon is trying to become a hunter, trying to get his license. He goes through all these trials, there's a lot of trickery, there's a lot of tests, it's very psychological, it's a lot of fun. And it was very different, very, very different than all these other shows like One Piece that was just about one grandiose adventure, or Naruto was just about a ninja who wants to become a king, or Bleach. It didn't seem structured in a normal way. And I kind of liked it about Hunter x Hunter. Now, the following arcs, after the Hunter exam arc, there was the auction arc, where Gon and Killua just fought a tournament to understand their powers better. You learn about the power structure, about the Nen abilities. Then after that was the York New arc, and I forgot what their name is, the Phantom Troop, the whole Kurapika situation. That was so different. And then after that was the Greed Island arc, and then after that, the Chimera Ant arc. Again, people, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this isn't directed as a review, as I said before. This is just me going through it, mostly for the people who've already seen it. The original run stopped at the Greed Island arc. I think it stopped around 2003, and it was a very slow-paced anime at the time. Togashi was an acclaimed mangaka anyway, so people did love him. But I don't know, Hunter x Hunter didn't get a lot of the big acclaim because, I don't know, maybe because it wasn't an adventure, because it was too broken down, because there wasn't a good flow. I loved it, don't get it twisted, but I know a lot of people it kind of just fell behind. So on top of that, I heard the manga, as it was being written, you're talking about a manga that was written since the late 90s all the way up until today. It's been on constant hiatus. The fans have been really upset about Togashi taking breaks. I think because he was having kids and because he was sick and because he just wanted to take a break and work on other stuff. You know, it's apparently this has been a nightmare. So even the production of the story has been very hit and miss. When I heard in 2011 they were rebooting this for a new series, I was very excited. I said, yes, one of the best animes I've ever seen is going to get a reboot, and it deserves it because the original was slow-paced, even though I did love the original run. And Hunter x Hunter at the time, and even now, is still one of my all-time favorite animes. But it was slow-paced. Okay, so this reboot came along, and what I was hoping was that it would get more steam now that we've got Madhouse, one of the, if not the greatest anime production studio working on it. And they did great with the animation. The animation this time, and they condensed it. I can't even give you guys a stat, but it's like kind of Dragon Ball Z Kai, where they more than half the number of episodes on the reboot. So I was getting ready to really recommend this to people, but the funny thing was, I still hadn't read the manga, and I was hearing all these negative things about the manga because it kept on going on hiatus and how the story was just turning to shit. So anyway, I've been watching the reboot, and like I said, I've just finished the Chimera Ant arc, and that Chimera Ant arc just went on for so goddamn long. Jesus Christ. And I read the manga afterwards because I just couldn't take it anymore. And I have to say, I'll give Madhouse props. Togashi, let me criticize the manga. The artwork on the manga is terrible. I was just shocked how bad the artwork was on the manga. I have to put something on the screen here. I mean, lazy artwork, Togashi, man. No, man. So Madhouse, they've done an exceptional job on the manga. On top of that, the pacing, when they adapted the first run, the way they sped it up was fine. But once they got up to the manga, where the first series stopped and they went on to the Chimera Ant arc, honestly, you could have halved that. It was really slow paced still. And the thing about Hunter x Hunter, I think it has some of the best characterization I've seen in years. I mean, the only two animes that trump this in my mind are Rurouni Kenshin and Legend of Galactic Heroes. And I know many hardcore anime fan that agree with me. So the thing is, I noticed that even with this reboot, it started to lose steam with a lot of fans. The Chimera Ant arc, I think it starts from episode 76 all the way to 136 off the top of my head. Is that 60 or 70 episodes? That's more than the whole 5 arcs beforehand. That needed to be halved. And even me who loved the show, who still loves it, it was really slow. It could have done a better job. But that isn't my main problem with the franchise, to be honest with you. My main problem is, I've read the manga now. I couldn't take it. I read the Chimera Ant arc, and I was getting into so many arguments with people about Hunter x Hunter, especially on AnimeVice.com. There was some big arguments on Anime Vice with the editor who was watching it for the first time, Tom Pinchuk. Again, big fan of his. He does good analytical write-ups as well. But man, the fans are going back and forth. Hunter x Hunter, even I have to admit, when you look at it in the beginning, it starts off being a story about a boy on an adventure. But as it goes along, the narrative becomes very, very fragmented. And it seems to be about different things. First it's about Gon, then it's about Kurapika, then it's about Greed Island, then this whole Chimera Ant arc was just about the concept of this species having a characterization and understanding their own origin and their own. It was fascinating. I think Hunter x Hunter does some fascinating characterization. But after reading the manga and after looking back on it in retrospect, oh man, I'm a little bit disappointed with how this show has come to be. It's not a linear story. I find it really hard to recommend to people, and I love it. But I'll tell you right now, Hunter x Hunter is an acquired taste. And I had another argument with people as well about this show being a seinen, not a shounen. Hear me out, because I understand very well this show was targeted towards teenagers. But man, when you look at some of these arcs, like the Kurokuyo arc, the York New arc, the murder and the intensity in that, you don't see that in shonen. This Chimera Ant arc, they just went way too deep into character analysis for most fans. They just dropped off. So many people that I told them to watch it, they hated it because the characterization was just too much for some people. And what I mean is that it was very dialogue driven. It was like watching an anime about playing chess. And funny enough, there was even an allegory to that where the king, Miriam, was playing that checker/chess Japanese game. People just hated it. It's funny because I just have mixed feelings about the show now. This is a situation where I love anime because, like I always said, I love great storytelling. And Hunter x Hunter, Hunter x Hunter has great storytelling, has great characterization. But as a narrative, when I look at it linearly, it doesn't flow. And I can understand why people are just falling off this show. I've read the rest of the manga now. Where this anime has stopped, where the Chimera Ant arc finishes, it's just going to be mostly political, about some political debate about who's going to be the next chairman of the Hunter Association. Yes, you're going to have the Killua and his sister arc on the side, but it's going to be hella boring. And I read the manga and I was like, you know what? I'm getting that characterization I like, but this show, it just isn't for the masses. It really isn't. And I love this show with a passion. To me, Hunter x Hunter is like an idea pop for Togashi. He uses this show to use so many ideas. And some people say, oh, One Piece does the same thing because One Piece uses so many different elements, all that. One Piece, to me, I've always said it's like a comedy first. Always a comedy. Hunter x Hunter is just about the characters. It isn't even gone. It's going on some adventure, but him and his whole father thing, none of that even matters. I feel a little bit deflated. I think that's my whole thing with this show. Because where the manga ends, I'm happy to part ways with the whole franchise. I really am. And I don't have any disdain for the show. Like I said, narratively, characterization is written really, really well. But as far as a shounen anime goes, no. To most people, it started off as one thing and it just ended up being a hodgepodge of mixed ideas. That hasn't bothered me per se, but I can understand why it's going to bother a lot of people. And honestly, I am kind of disappointed because I wanted this show to be done better. I wanted it to be a linear story. I wanted it to be a story about Gon on his adventure to become a hunter. But to me, Togashi just throws in side stories and they're all good. But honestly, I have a very hard time recommending this show to people. And I want to give a shout out to a YouTuber, Uber Hikari. He does some phenomenal analytical reviews on Hunter x Hunter. He doesn't do it consistently because he's busy and stuff, which is fine. And if you're watching this, I want to let you know I really appreciate your reviews. You're awesome. And I'm going to put links in the description for all the Hunter x Hunter fans out there. But I don't know what to say about this anime anymore. I wanted to recommend it to people. I wanted to champion it. But now, after finishing the manga, I don't know how I feel. And I know it's been on hiatus for a long time. And I know a lot of people hate it already. But I just finished the anime. I just caught up on this Chimera Ant arc. I just finished the manga. And I'm kind of heartbroken, man. The way this turned out. I wish all the elements were there. But this is one of the cases. With anime, usually, it's always about the anime had potential and then it fell off. This anime has great characterization, but the baseline story is just not there. It's just... So anyway, let me wrap this up because this was a ramble. I just had to get my feelings out. Like I said, it wasn't a review. I'm just putting this out there. Obviously, I want to hear what people think. I do love this show, but it's an acquired taste. It really, really, really is an acquired taste. You can't recommend it to everyone. I really wanted there to be another dub for this Madhouse one, but they're one arc behind the end of the manga anyway, and I feel like I've seen enough. It's one of these shows that just makes my mind wonder now. How did it fall apart this way, Togashi? You're a great writer, fantastic writer. But this is one of those times where it didn't all come together. But, you know, I do have strong feelings towards Hunter x Hunter. And you know what? Because I have a YouTube show, and because I'm talking about anime, I had to put it out there. So, people, tell me what you think, Hunter x Hunter. Do you think I'm just crazy? Do you think I'm just confused? Or, you know, whatever you got to say, leave it in the comments down below. And then we'll have a discussion about this. But that's about it, people. That's all I got to say. I wouldn't call this episode of Tyro Media. I would just call this an anime discussion about an anime that has just left me feeling lukewarm, melancholy. I don't know. People, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. I know I'm going to hear something. And then I guess I'll see you on the next one for some standard reviews, constructive reviews, not just rambles, but every once in a while. I gotta do it. I think that's about it. Peace.